What's good, YouTube? It's your boy DVD, and rich people are mad today.
Just seeing this make me want to sell my AP. AP, what's up, man?
AP just dropped a collab with Swatch. The lowest price you can get for an AP is like $300, $400. I would get it. Why they're mad? Like, bro, if I spent like 10K on a watch, and then now the next nigga on the block spent 300, and now we got the same watch, it's like, bro, I've already seen people on Instagram flexing the watch, bro. So it's already out there at this point. But let's take a look at the watch, what it looks like, and talk about it.
Audemars Piguet Swatch Royal Pop has finally arrived, and if you're watching this video, that means you've seen the teasers, you've seen all of the renderings people have made online. This release has transcended watches and become something of a hot pop culture topic of late, no pun intended. But now it's finally here, and here's everything you need to know about the new Royal Pop.
It looks very colorful though, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know, why would they do this? I don't know why AP would do this. Maybe they're doing it for the culture. Maybe, I don't know what the move is. I'd like to know what the reason for this release was. Like, what was the reason for the collab?
For some background on the watch. Now, some of these things you might know, and some of them you might not, but the original Pop Swatch, a watch if you want to call it that, but more like a pocket watch or a wearable watch, was first launched by Swatch in 1986 and allowed the wearer to fix the watch to anything they really wanted. You could also pop it onto a strap if you wanted to. Now, while the Pop Swatch almost put Swatch on the map in the 80s, it did fall out of favor for some years, though it did return in 2022 and proved to be significant to the launch that we're talking about today. And by coincidence or not, the Royal Pop is landing exactly 40 years after that first release. Now, this is not the first collaboration we've seen from Swatch. In 2022, we saw the groundbreaking Moon Swatch collaboration. This is Omega and Swatch coming together and making effectively a one-to-one recreation in bioceramic of the classic Speedmaster Moon watch. Just 1 year later, Swatch was added again, this time another Swatch Group brand, Blancpain, the Scuba 50. Again, nearly a one-to-one recreation in 42mm of the iconic dive watch. Now,
so Swatch, I guess, has been known for doing like a lot of collabs, I guess. I didn't know. I don't own a Swatch. I haven't really been tapped in with them, but they do have affordable watches though. Swatch has been known to have like relatively affordable watches.
AP's current CEO, Ilaria Resta, is the one collaborating with Nicholas Hayek Jr., CEO of the Swatch Group. But the former CEO of Audemars Piguet, François-Henri Benemias, was a well-known Swatch collector, admittedly owning over 1,000 Swatch watches before eventually purging that collection slightly. But it's hard to imagine that the two, Benemias and Hayek Jr., didn't come together at some point to discuss this collaboration and start the early phases of what this eventually became.
So there's been a lot of there's bureaucratic relationships behind this. It's not just about branding. It's not just about the customer. It's about people behind the scenes that actually run these companies have friendship and ties or just admiration for each other. It's still the watch industry. If you do a good job and you have a legacy, which Swatch does have, bro, fuck the price tag. Once you have a legacy of an ongoing product, the admiration for the craftsmanship, if it's there behind the scenes, it doesn't really matter what the customer in the front says.
Royal Pop. So let's get into the details of that watch. So in total, we have 8 variations of the Royal Pop, and that number is significant. You might ask yourself, why 8? Well, I'll tell you why 8. Think about the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. It's octagonal bezel. And that's right, there are 8 variations playing off the notion of the 8-sided bezel on the AP Royal Oak, a classic design. So let's talk about what the colors are. We have a pink case with a cherry bezel and cherry crown.
Alright guys, I want to take a quick break to give a shout out to our sponsor, me. How the f is 99.7 of you guys not subscribed? I'm sponsoring this video.
DVD.
Subscribe. Why are you not subscribed? I can't figure it out. I can't do the math. The point is, there's a lot of you guys that aren't subscribed. Subscribe. Let's get back to the video.
We have a white case and bezel and crown with a sort of pop art motif, colorful with the screws around the bezel and on the markers and hands and words on the dial. We have a contrasting green option. We have a lime green and light blue option. We have a navy and orange. We have a contrasting light and dark blue case in a different configuration, which I'll get into momentarily, where you'll notice there is a small subsidiary seconds dial at 6 o'clock. We have a black and white, almost monochromatic motif. And we have a pink, yellow, and sort of turquoise option.
I like this one. It's not my style. It's not my style. I wouldn't wear it, but I like it. Reminds me of like it's like Simpson colors. It looks like Simpson colors.
Available in the pink, turquoise, and yellow configuration, as well as the contrasting light blue, darker blue configuration. Each of the watches come affixed to a calfskin lanyard with contrasting stitching. Now, anybody who saw the teasers of this watch might have thought it was going to be some sort of a rope lanyard, but of course they've gone a bit upscale here with the calfskin motif. Now, I mentioned earlier talk of the Moon Swatch using a quartz movement, the Blancpain Scuba 50 using a System 51 movement, and the Royal Pop continues the use of the System 51, but kind of elevates it and takes it to grand new heights. And that's because this is the first System 51 ever to utilize a hand winding caliber. That's right, Swatch now has a manual winding movement in a pocket watch in collaboration with Audemars Piguet. It includes 15 active patents and a 90-hour power reserve. It has an anti-magnetic Nivicron balance spring and offers an exhibition caseback, giving you a partial view of the movement, but also a view of the Royal Pop text. Now, the watch is called the Royal Pop for two reasons. One, it pays homage to the Pop Swatch, but two, if you're paying attention to the marketing surrounding this watch, it also pays direct homage to pop art. Think about Andy Warhol, for example.
It does have like a very pop culture, pop art, like anti-bourgeoisie kind of feel to it. You get what I'm saying? Which is weird because AP has always been seen to be like a luxury brand. So they have like them doing this is like yin and yang coming together to give a product. I'm here for it, bro. I'll be honest. I'm not mad. I can understand why a person who bought an AP for the status can be upset by it, but then you're missing the point. You didn't buy the watch for the watch, or you didn't even inform yourself on the culture of the watch. You just probably heard AP in a rap song and then copped it because you thought it would give you like a certain level of status. But yeah, I'm here for it. That shows that people at the top are passionate to an extent and are doing things out of artistic desire. You get what I'm saying?
And if you've seen the boxes of these watches that have been stationed in Swatch stores all around the country and all around the world, you'll notice that motif is accentuated and definitely displayed front and center. So let's next dive into the differences between the Lapine and the Savonette style watches, starting off with the Lapine. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these watches have a traditional hour and minute hand configuration, and that's it. The crown is located at 12 o'clock. The dials on the Royal Pop bring the full tapisserie pattern from the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak directly onto this Swatch version. And it has the hands you know, the markers you know, and the bezel you know, along with even the crown knurling. I mean, this thing, in terms of the case itself, feels and looks like a Royal Oak, except for the fact that it's not on a bracelet. And I guess this would be as good a time as any to really...
I could have sworn I saw a version with a bracelet. No? Like, am I bugging? Wait, let me look it up. AP... But they did have versions with the wristband, no?
Just seeing this make me want to sell my AP. AP, what's up, man? I done spent $200,000 on one of
Yeah, I'm dead. DGG spent $200,000. But see what I'm saying? Niggas bought this shit for the fucking clout, bro. But yeah, the Royal Pop right here, it has a band, and it's not like a pocket watch. But the only thing I'm seeing is the pocket watch version. Anyways.
But if this was truly going to be a Royal Oak homage, or a one-to-one edition of a Royal Oak, similar to the Omega Speedmaster Moon Swatch, well, it would need to have the Royal Oak bracelet. And I think, though I'm not an engineer, that making that bracelet in bioceramic would be no small feat. In fact, it would be quite difficult. And I'm sure that they tried to make it, but at the end of the day, would making a one-to-one copy of a Royal Oak in ceramic really be all that exciting? Would it actually elevate the platform of what Swatch is trying to do with these collaborations? It's hard to say. At the end of the day, while there's certainly some disappointment that this is a pocket watch effectively, on a lanyard, I still think it's distinctive.
So there is no band. There is no band. They did the collab leaving it at a pocket watch, which you know, I don't know. Nobody's wearing none of my niggas are wearing a fucking pocket watch. Pull that shit out to take like, bro, I'm not doing that. I mean, imagine having an AP. I mean, I would put it on my keychain. That's a $300 keychain right there.
To new ground being broken by Swatch in its collaboration with brands outside of the Swatch group. All of that being said, there's still some really interesting tidbits that kind of add a premium feel to this watch that you don't see on the Scuba 50 or the Moon Swatch. Now, you know this is an exhibition case back that gives a full view of the movement and its pop.
That I think is super cool. Like leaving the back open is very, very cool, because what I feel like this is gonna do is it's gonna create a certain curiosity in an audience that doesn't really give a fuck. You get what I'm saying? Like the average buyer doesn't care how the watch works. They don't care if it's a tourbillon watch. They don't care if it's a battery watch. They don't care. But seeing the mechanics I feel like is gonna induce a level of curiosity for a person who has never seen the inside of a watch, that doesn't know how the mechanics of a watch works, and is gonna learn more about like different types of watch mechanics and grow a desire for certain specific watches. You get what I'm saying? Which will inevitably make them want to spend more money. So, you know, it may not be a general good look for AP's overall customer, but it's definitely a strong stand for the watch industry. It becomes more than just a status symbol. It turns into I can't even find the word for it. It turns into like an adoration. I can't even explain it. It turns from just being a status symbol to being like, yo, I know about this watch, I know how it works, I understand the mechanics, and now the more you learn about it, the more you love it, if you understand what I'm saying.
Is it has a power reserve indicator that actually lets you know when you can see the coils in the mainspring that the watch needs to be wound. And all of that is protected by an exhibition sapphire crystal.
Okay. Now they're trying to sell me. They're just trying to sell me. But anyways, let me know what you think about this collaboration. Like, let me know what you think about the design. Would you buy an AP? Would you buy an AP before watching this, and has that changed your mind, or would you buy this watch in general? All right, love you, catch you.